Hello! Today is 19th of October 2025 and I came to my favorite classroom with a very nice view that I'm seeing right now, and I really want to record the video today regarding one topic that is very important to me, and I believe it is important to many people, and I know many people to whom that might be beneficial, so I'm really excited. I wanted to catch up with you guys because at this point I feel like I want to share those things with you first. Some of the things that I noticed that has been happening with me. Maybe it's like a nice idea to start all of the videos with like such updates and then continue with the topic. So basically, the day when I was recording the last video, the one that didn't turn out to be what I was expecting it to be, I was leaving the classroom and I felt a bit sick that day after the video, and I really wanted to go to my room and just, chill and do nothing. And as I was leaving, I was leaving the room, and then there was a cat by the door, and she was so lovely. If I can, I will add the video of this cat here. And she was like circling around my legs and she wouldn't let me go again. And I started like petting her and she was calling my name. And I was moving, she was coming back with me. Then at some point she just left and I went to my room. And I came to my room and realized that the SD card from the camera is not with me because I left it in the classroom. And I'm like, sometimes you need to listen to the cats. Sometimes you really need to listen to the cats. And if the cat is not letting you go, there is a thing in it, So sometimes cats know better. Another thing, I was... before sleeping at one of the days, I was thinking about something, and I was really asking for like forgiveness from God, and I was thinking about this topic because there was something on my mind, and I was feeling that like I didn't do it right, or like what I did wasn't enough or something. And when I was going to sleep, I was like, it was on my mind. I'm like, God, please forgive me. And then I woke up before prayers. Without an alarm. I just woke up and it was like around 40 minutes before the morning namaz, and I'm like, that's so weird that I woke up so early. What should I do now? And then I opened my phone because I wanted to I didn't want to sleep. I wanted to keep myself awake. And I opened my phone and I see a message in one of the channels that I'm in. And it says that the best time to ask for forgiveness is before the morning's prayer. And it's the time when you can do a lot of du'as for forgiveness. And I'm like, I see. Okay. And I just stood up, and it was a nice morning. It was a really nice morning. Because you feel like you woke up with a purpose, you woke up for a reason. And the fact that I didn't put an alarm to wake up, and I just woke up on my own. And at the second when I was questioning why this happened, I saw this message. And the night before I slept with this thought of asking for forgiveness. And it was a very crazy situation. And after that, obviously, I couldn't sleep again. But it's okay. It's totally fine. So, yes, I think that these are all of the big updates. And now we can proceed with the topic of today's video. Let me sip a bit of my coffee. Also, I woke up today in the morning for prayers again. and I finally have a window in my dorm, because last year I didn't have a window. Let's not go there. I finally have a window in my dorm, and I woke up and I felt so sleepy, like I was gonna sleep back. And in my mind, I'm like falling asleep again, and I'm like, oh my, you need to wake up. You will skip the prayers. You will miss the prayers. And I'm like going to sleep at this point. And then a very heavy rain started in the morning, and because my window was open, I heard it, and I got so surprised by the fact that, oh my god, first of all, oh my god, I hear the rain, and then second of all, oh my god, the second I was gonna sleep, I actually like heard this noise that made me awake. So yeah, God signs are actually insane when you do recognize and do see them. And yeah. Anyways, let's proceed with the topic of today's video. So the hardest part is to start. So the topic I wanna cover today, I think you probably saw it from the title of the video, is any form of harm that a person can bring to himself. And I would like to start with this and then gradually shift to self-love topic, and how self-love is obviously a way of dealing with self-harm. And I just wanted to share my experience with both of those terms, and how my spirituality helped me overcome some challenges and helped me improve some of the aspects of my life in these topics. So self-harm is unfortunately something that I believe 99% of people are facing. And the self-harm I am talking about is not only physical, so I'm not talking about like any kind of eating disorders or like making yourself feel pain on purpose physically. I'm also talking about mental harm the person can bring, so like underestimating themselves, constantly thinking that they're not enough or that they are not good enough in I don't know, at work, at studies, in any personal relationships, that they're not beautiful enough, that they're not kind enough, anything. I'm talking about this as well. So self-harm that I want to talk today about is also the, I don't know, eating disorders, any kind of negative habits that person can have, everything that can possibly make bring a harm to a person. And I really believe that a lot of people are doing it, and some people maybe are doing it even unconsciously. Some people are consciously doing it and understanding what is happening with them, but they're not able to overcome it. And some people are doing it knowing that they're doing it and continuing doing it because this is a way they punish themselves for any kind of thing that they did in their life, and punish themselves for a thing that they are unhappy with in themselves. It is just like a form of coping mechanism. So there are like very different ways of how you can do self-harm. And maybe even if I'm really happy and you're really lucky if you are not doing any of these things, but you probably know someone that does this, and I would really appreciate if after you find yourself this video beneficial, you can share it also with those people, and maybe they find it beneficial for them as well. So I believe that for myself, Islam really helped me with coping with such things and with getting a bit more easier on myself. And this is basically what I wanted to discuss in this video, of how important we actually are and how sometimes unaware we are of this. So yes, this is just like a short introduction of what will be covered here. And why I decided to record this video, I was talking with one of my lovely friends here in Istanbul, and we kind of started talking about this topic, and we really understand each other with such things. And question after question, we kind of got to this topic, and I'm like, maybe it's worth to also share a video about that, not to keep it like between us with her, but to share those things and advices with others as well. And then I was thinking about that, and I saw a quote on Instagram that was saying that God created, I didn't know that, God created the skies, the mountains, the earth, everything in a very short amount of time. And then when he was creating people, it took him a lot more than the amount of time he spent creating skies and mountains and earth and everything. And he created a human being for such a long period of time and called us his greatest creation. He called us his greatest creation. Not those skies, not those forests, not those mountains, but us. And I got so impressed by this, and I saw so much beauty in how this particular thing can boost up your self-love, that I was like, okay, maybe I need to cover the self-harm topic and then gradually shift to self-love topic. So yes, let's start with self-harm, and then I would be really happy if by the end of the video the self-harm term will transform in something more beautiful, which is self-love. So yeah, as I said, self-harm can be happening in very different forms, and maybe even people that you see are so happy and so stable physically, and even maybe mentally, they can be doing those very small acts of harm, is that maybe even without realizing it. And I am a kind of person that is usually getting very harsh. I usually get very harsh on myself, and this is not only, again, this can be in very, very different topics and very, very different aspects of my life. It can be classes, it can be relationship with my family, with my friends, with my loved ones, with my club related stuff. Like, it can be everything. And I always question if whatever I did in any of those fields is my maximum, if it is the best that I can give. And usually when you look at this from your harsh and strict perspective, probably the answer to this question is no. You didn't give the most that you could, and there is still something left, something you didn't do enough, something that, why didn't you give it? Why didn't you do this? And this constant blame and constant questioning was in my mind. And I'm not saying that I fully overcame it. It's still sometimes in my mind, but at least now I can distinguish it, and I can reflect on it, and I can work with it, which is a very nice goal, because healing from something is not always reacting to it in the best way or in the most correct way. Sometimes it's just realizing what is happening, and then next time maybe you will react in a better way. So first is you do something unconsciously, then you understand this, you're trying to work on it, you realize it, and then you improve it. I believe that's how the past is looking like, and I'm talking about this not only even from spiritual perspective but also from therapy, because that's what I was told. So yeah. Anyways, and I remember in summer, usually in summer no one is doing anything, and I got so depressed in summer because I wasn't doing anything, and I felt so unworthless and so unimportant, because I'm like, why should I exist? Like, what is the point of me if I'm not doing anything? What is the point of me then? Because in my head, I only have any kind of worth if I am productive, or if I am doing something, or if I am, like, if I'm, let's say, laying in my bed the whole day, then why did I wake up? That was my approach. And this approach is not giving you anything but negativity in your life. Even if, I'm not saying, by the way, that you should lay the whole summer in your bed and not do anything. No, obviously you need to do something, but not treat yourself every day as a worthless person just because you were laying in your bed. You can lay in your bed, and it won't remove all of the achievements you did before. So this is a very important part. The fact that you were unproductive for one day does not remove all of the big progress and achievements you did before. Because if you did a lot of stuff throughout the year and then you have one break and you're not doing anything there, you should have this break. Because otherwise, if you're not having this break, you will not have any kind of energy to be as productive in the future. Our body needs rest. Our body needs a stop. Our psychology needs a stop, because it cannot always be in rush. It cannot always be doing something. There should be a stop. There should be a relax. And for me, this was unacceptable. For me, I should be a robot that always does something. Because if I'm not, then someone else would. Someone else would do something while I'm there laying in my bed. And then I should be better. I should be better than everyone, than me yesterday. This is the point. I should be better than me yesterday. But sometimes you shouldn't. Sometimes you can still stay on the same level. And it's fine. Because if you don't stay on this level, probably your next level will be down. If you don't rest for a bit on the same level you are, then the next one, you will go down there. You will go down there and then you will need to jump to get up. So this was something that I realized this summer through not the best way, but I realized at the end because my body just alarmed me and I didn't notice that, and then it basically just put me in bed so that I finally rest. And if in the beginning of this I was still fighting myself because I am not able to stand up and do something productive, it's a lot of job, but it's possible. You start accepting it, and you start with very, very, very small steps that motivate you to continue. So let's say I am procrastinating, and in my head I'm like, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this, I'm so bad, I'm not doing it, I need to do this, and it's giving your brain a signal that whatever you will be doing is something not nice. Because if it's something nice, you would probably want to do this, right? You would probably want to stand up and do this. But because you are pushing yourself so much to the things that you don't want to do, you actually don't have energy for that. And this is when I understood the difference between need and want. And it's one of the best lessons that therapy told me. There are things that you need to do. There are things that you want to do. And most of the times, the things that you need to do, you don't have motivation to do. The things that you want to do, you do with a lot of energy. So let's say in summer, I know that I need to write a report for my internship. And I'm not writing it because I don't have energy for that. And I'm like, shit, I need to do this. And the more I say I need to, the more I know that this is something I don't want to do, and I'm pushing myself to. Then you give yourself a bit of rest. You're like, okay, I don't really feel like doing this report today. Let me just lay in bed and not do anything. And tomorrow I will do a very small step. I will open it and I will see a structure at least of this report. That's what you do. You spend your whole day relaxing, gaining energy. Then next day you open it. You open the structure of it. And then you start with it. And the moment you start with it, at least if it's like a very, very small step, you feel better. Because in your brain, you're like, I started doing something. But still, you don't feel like it, really. And this was the moment when I realized, why do I need this report? The report, by the way, is a very small example, and spending one day to get energy is also a very big amount. I'm talking like this can all be changed to different time periods. I'm just giving an example. So then I'm like, okay, why do I need to write this report? And what will I get from writing this report? Let's say A. If I write this report, I will actually understand what I did this summer. And it won't make me feel so unproductive. Or I will write this report, and then I might learn something new about this company or something. What I'm trying to say is that you find things in this task that you needed to do and transform this into something that you want to do because there are benefits from that. I need to pass an exam, but I want to graduate from university. And to graduate from a university, I need to pass an exam, but I actually kind of want to pass it, you know? And when there is this shift of need and want, when you understand what they mean, you can actually set what you what you should do in your life. And if you don't wanna do your club stuff, then don't. Then wait for the moment when you have a will. Again, this might sound very, very potential and unrealistic, but somehow it works. Somehow, maybe, I'm not saying like maybe in jobs, let's say, when you're working for a company, okay, maybe the need and want situation is more harsh. But again, I just believe that, let's say, even if you're working on a task that you hate and you need to do it, there is an end goal that is something that you want, probably. There is an end goal that, like, I want to be more attractive in a professional way, obviously, to my colleagues. Like, I want to be more professional. And this is something that you would want to. You don't need to. You won't die if you don't do this, right? Even when at night, let's say, I wasn't able to sleep in summer, I was pressuring myself with the idea that I need to sleep. And then, of course, you can't sleep if you pressure yourself that you need to sleep. Then I'm like, I want to sleep. I want to sleep because tomorrow then I won't have energy at all. And then when you have this approach to all of your thoughts in your head, things get easier. So basically, yes, this was my approach to dealing with like this feeling of I am unworthy, because I'm not productive. You don't have to. Not always. You can give yourself a rest, and it will actually make you more productive in the future. That's a very important part. And then there is another part of self-harm, which is an idea of punishing yourself for something that you think you didn't do good enough. And this was something with what I was dealing a lot, and was what I couldn't overcome for a very long time. So this feeling of guilt is I believe one of the worst things a person can experience, like on a mental level, because this feeling of guilt comes with you to all of the aspects of your life. And it's actually a very bad thing for manipulation, because if you have this guilt, it's very easy to impose it on you in very different topics. And for me, it was a very long way of overcoming this feeling of guilt and blame and shame I was feeling for things. Because it is a limitation, and this is something that we need to understand. Guilt is not gonna make you better. Guilt is not gonna push you further. What will push you further is acceptance and love. Self-love. And only after you understand this guilt is not making you better, you can start working with it. Because for a very long time, I felt like guilt and blame, so feeling guilty and blaming myself for things, is a good thing, because I punish myself and then I will be better. It's not working like this. You won't be better. You won't be better. So this is the first, I think, step. First step is to understand that you will be better off if you stop this. And then next one is how you can transform this guilt, and how you can actually understand that whenever you are punishing yourself, you are hurting someone who is considered the greatest creation of God. And I want to take a moment for this, because this is something that moved me a lot. And I believe it's a very good and profitable thing for a person. So, what is the idea. Whenever we were created with an infinite amount of love and care and dedication, and we were never created with anger, with blame, with guilt, with idea of punishment. Even though God knew what we will do in our lives. God knew what sins we will be having. God knew how many times we will go away from Him. But still, He created us with love. And He is able to forgive us for things that are actually maybe unforgivable. So when I realized that, I thought, who am I not to forgive myself for very small things in this life, when there are such big things that are forgiven by God? And this shocked me, because for 1 second I realized how big of an importance I give myself over myself. Because I realized that God that created me is able to forgive me, and then I, that don't really have enough power over myself, I am just a how is it called in English? Emanet from God. Like we just belong to God. We don't belong to ourselves. How powerful I think I am, and how in control I think I am, to actually not to forgive myself, let alone not forgive, but to punish myself for things that I did, and then God forgave me, and then God forgives me for bigger things that I did for Him, even though He is the one who created me. He is the one that has control. He is the one that has power, and still He forgets. Oh my God! Still He forgives me, but I cannot forgive myself for smaller things. And I understand that God is all forgiving, and He is able to do things that we, as human beings, we are limited to do and understand. This is perfectly fine. But then if God forgives, who am I not to forgive? Who am I to do harm to what God called His greatest creation? That's the point. Because He is closer than our vein. So any harm that we are doing to ourselves, let it be physical, let it be mental, any harm that we are doing to ourselves, God feels it. God feels when we are harming His favorite creation. And when we're doing it, we're not only harming ourselves at this point, we are also making sad someone that created us. So imagine that you are harming yourself, and the pain that you feel is also felt by your parents, which I assume is something that you wouldn't want to happen, because you wouldn't want your parents that gave birth to you and raised you to feel pain for things that you did. But then whenever we're doing it, whenever we're harming ourselves, God feels it. Our parents don't feel it. God feels it. And this is an actual thing. It's not a hypothetical thing. You don't have to imagine if God felt it or not. He did. Every time you're starving yourself, every time you're cutting yourself, every time you're mentally pressuring yourself, God feels it too. And you are no longer the only one that has power to decide. You are not the one that can decide on such thing. And when you realize this, you kind of don't want to continue that. Because next time when you want to punish yourself for something, you understand that, okay, I have this feeling in myself, I want to punish myself. But when I'm saying myself, it's not really only myself. It's also my creator. So when I was researching about this topic, I learned that self-harm is like addressed in Quran as wronging yourself, which is very beautiful as well. I don't want to be like explaining how I understand it. I think everyone just can spend a minute, maybe home exercise, can spend a minute and think of this. But it's very beautiful that self-harm is wronging yourself. Wrong. I want to highlight it. So another thing that I wanted to cover is that obviously any form of harm a person can bring to himself is a sin, which is also very beautiful, because God doesn't want you to hurt yourself. He doesn't want you to hurt his biggest creation, the greatest creation. And this is a sin that is considered to be a sin to protect you, as all other sins, but this is a very obvious one. He wants to protect you, sometimes even from yourself as well. That's why he made it a sin. And another very moving point is that whatever you do in this life, I was talking about this in my other videos as well, whatever kind of sin you have in your life, if you come back to your gut and you ask for forgiveness, a very genuine one, and if you promise that you will not be doing it again, God forgives you, and he is not holding your past. He puts it aside because you ask for forgiveness, and then he continues to observe how you continue living your life. However, what we do as humans is that we live our lives and then we do a mistake, and then we carry this mistake for a very, very long amount of time, even though at some point it doesn't bring us anything. So, taking an example from what God is teaching us, what we should actually do whenever we have a mistake or whenever we feel like something is not good enough, we should spend some time actually realizing this. Okay, Humay, this week you studied very bad. Next week you need to start studying more. This realization settles in your head, and then you continue your life. But you are not studying more to punish yourself for the last week. You are studying more because you want to improve yourself. That should be the approach. Your approach shouldn't never be punishing or doing things because you need to or have to, or if you don't do them, you will be a bad person. Instead, it should be acceptance of the situation, taking the best out of it, taking some kind of decision, reflecting, and then carrying this positive, productive thought to your next future. And this is the only way a person grows. The same way you wouldn't want to be harsh, you wouldn't want to be punishing your beloved ones, even when you know that they made a mistake. The same way you should do it to yourself. Because you love your beloved ones, and God loves you. God loves everyone, but this is just a comparison. The same way you don't want your beloved ones to feel pain, God doesn't want you to feel pain. And His will is obviously more powerful than your will. So whenever you are doing this, again, I'm not guilt tripping. I fully understand you if you are doing any kind of self-harm, but this, I'm just sharing something that can help you out. Remind yourself of an infinite amount of love that God has for you, even when you are sinning. Realize it. Accept it. And remind yourself that you are just a emanat from God. That you don't have a power over yourself. Not enough power, at least, to decide when to punish yourself. When you need to be punished, God will punish you, don't worry about it. Leave it on Him. Because He knows better. He knows better if in a particular thing you need to get punished or no. And you deciding on that also is a way as if like you know better. You don't. So try to trust God on this. With punishments, He is the best timer. You should just carry out the signs that God gives you. And make sure that from every challenge, from every test, you are living with benefit rather than with harm. And punishment, calling yourself not good enough, anything that you're doing, let God handle this part. And you just try your best to protect yourself. This is the point. God doesn't hold your past against you. He doesn't. You do. He, the creator of skies, what do you love in this life? Skies, mountains, oceans? He, the creator of this beautiful thing that you really love, He created you as His greatest creation, greater than everything else that you loved so much. And He is telling us that I forgive you if you ask for forgiveness, and I'm not holding your past against you. But we as people do. Who are we to? Who are we to do this? Are we better? God forbid. Are we more powerful? Do we know better than Him when to punish ourselves? No. No, we don't. And this is something a person should realize. This. A person that punishes himself, herself, should realize. And I want to make it clear. Whenever I'm saying you need to forgive yourself, I don't mean that you need to forget again. You understand what happened. You take the best out of it. You have some kind of conclusion from there. And then you don't carry this guilt, you don't carry this blame, you carry this conclusion. I didn't spend much time studying this week. Why? What was the reason? Did I feel sad? What happened? Why? There is always a reason. Then you carry this conclusion. Okay, I haven't been motivated enough because on the weekends I didn't rest. That's why I didn't have energy to study. Okay, next weekend I need to go rest a bit. Enjoy my time so that I have power to... This conclusion, you are carrying it with you. This is the approach that will make you grow. You carrying the guilt with you won't make you grow. Even if you feel like you're growing, you are not. You're staying on your same place. Whenever you feel mad at yourself, remember that you were not created in anger. You were not created in... You were instead created in love and mercy. And this is something that you have in yourself. So you have the power to forgive yourself. You are not created in this life as a failure, as an accident, as a sinner. You are created as a masterpiece. Every person on this earth is created as a masterpiece, with mind, with a heart, with an anatomy that is absolutely incredible. You are a result of a very big job. That's why you are the greatest creation of God. And whenever you are lacking confidence, whenever you are lacking self-love, remind that to yourself. Remind yourself, I know I've said it many times, but it's absolutely incredible, that the creator of everything in life that you love so much, all the nature, all the buildings, all the countries, all the science, everything, the creator of all of that absolutely incredible things, created you. It took him longer to create you, and he stated that you are the greatest of his creations. And this is something beyond we can understand. This is something beyond all of the small mistakes that we do in our life. So this is something that gives me so much confidence in myself, because whenever, let's say, I feel that I'm not beautiful enough, right? I look at the sky, I look at it right now as well. I look at the sky and I think that it's incredible. And then I remind myself that I took longer time to be created than this beautiful sky. Isn't it crazy? Isn't it something that gives you so much confidence and so much self-love? My point is that whenever we are looking at ourselves from the mirror, and this can be any kind of mirror, physical one, mental one, whatever that is, we should try to make God's mercy our mirror. We should remind ourselves that even if we are looking at a situation with our own eyes and judging ourselves based on what we think, God's eyes are seeing more. And God has a better way of deciding when we should be punished, not punished, when we should be tested, and what should be forgiven, what should be not forgiven. We are too limited to take such decisions. So we should remind ourselves that even when we give up on ourselves, God does not. God always has hope that we will become better. God never brings our mistakes and sins to the present, but we do. We give up on ourselves, we get too harsh on ourselves. So what God does to us should be our example and should be our goal. And whenever we fall back to this loop of punishing, of harming, of wronging ourselves, we should remind ourselves that we are not doing it only to ourselves. We are doing it also to our Creator. And the same way, we don't want it to be felt by our parents because they gave birth to us. God was the one that actually created us, and then we're harming Him as well, which is obviously not something that we should or can do, right? It is a big realization that our existence on this earth wasn't a coincidence. It wasn't a random decision. It was thoroughly decided, and it took time for us to take place there. And there is a very big meaning by why we were there at this time. And even when we feel that we're worthless, it is just us being incapable of understanding the reason. And this is something that we need always to keep in mind. Because even when we are not able to love ourselves, God still does. God still knows that we are worth the love. Even when you feel as if no one loves you, as if you're a total failure, as if you did something so wrong that you need to be punished, God still loves you. And He still wants you to feel good. He still is by your side. He is still waiting for you to pray for Him, to ask for forgiveness, to ask for guidance, to ask for help. And this is what we need to do. Not to fall back to this loop of blame and guilt and punishment, but to choose the path of love. Path of love for God, path of love for this beautiful life, and path of love for ourselves. Because even when we stop loving ourselves, God doesn't. God doesn't. And this is absolutely crazy because it doesn't really matter if you love yourself or no, if God does love you, and He indeed loves you. What is more important? I hope this idea is something that will be stuck with you, because unfortunately I know many people struggling with this topic, many people that have their parts in my heart. And that's why this topic is so important and emotional and deep to me, because I have always felt that it's my goal to make people feel better with this topic. And maybe it's actually not. Everyone has their journey, everyone has their things that they should pass through. But I am just really hoping that this video will make those things easier for you, and you will start getting less harsh on yourself. Yeah, I guess. Let me check if I forgot anything, but I think I said everything that I wanted to say. One more thing that I wanted to add. Whenever you start seeing this love and start understanding how deep and important it is, what it brought me was the feeling of home. Because home is a place where you feel loved. Home is a place where you feel accepted. Home is a place that waits for you. And I think this is a part that many people that traveled abroad would understand. The second you step out of your parents' house and start kind of building your place in another place, you lose this feeling of home that you had, because you now have two homes. One is not actually your home yet. The other one doesn't feel as home as it was. And it's just a very sad and a very unavoidable feeling. It can happen if you traveled abroad, if you start building your life with your spouse. Anything. Maybe, God forbid, your parents passed away, your family passed away, God forbid. If that's the case, all my prayers and all my love with you, really. But any case, whenever you move out, you lose this feeling of home. You don't get it the same way back, and you just don't know what is happening with you. Where are you? Where is home? What is it? Is it a person? Is it where your family is? Is it where you're from? Is it where you moved to? Is it where your friends are? Is it where you are productive? Is it where you are peaceful? What is it? And I've been thinking about it now, 4th year that I'm abroad. And what this genuine and infinite love from God gives you is this feeling of home wherever you are. Because you are bringing this love with you everywhere, to everyone. If you define your home as a place of love, which is the case for me, then this place of love goes with you wherever you are, and you are no longer seeking for something physical to be home. Because your home becomes love, and your love is something you feel for God, and it is actually everywhere. It is in the trees, it is in the skies, it is in your family, it is in your books, it is in your laptop, it is in everything that you do. And then everywhere you are at home. Everywhere. And this is a very comforting feeling. Done, I think. I'm so happy I finally came up with this. I'm so happy this is not another no caption video. I can't wait to start editing it. I guess I'm gonna be sitting there and editing it right now because I really want to post it. This is a very sensitive and very emotional topic for me, and I am really hoping that I was able to make your lives better. And may God be always with you. May God facilitate things for you. And may you love yourself. I love you. And I hope whenever you watch it, you have a very nice day and you meet with very nice people. So yeah. Bye bye.